Hi folks, this is Steve in the Pistol Place. Welcome to this video review of the Umarex Walther PPQ M2. The PPQ, which stands for Police Pistol Quick Defence, is a development of the Walther P99 service pistol, which is specifically intended for police use. This is a 6mm replica, gas powered, produces less than 1 joule of muzzle energy, so it's suitable for airsoft. It's sold by Umarex and manufactured in Taiwan by VFC. Let's have a look at what it looks like. All the mouldings are very crisply done. It's actually a very nice visual replica of the original pistol. Has a metal slide, metal controls, metal inner barrel, plastic grip and frame. The markings are good. It's a licensed replica. You can see that we have Walther and PPQ on the slide. Even the smaller text here and here is authentic to the original. On the right hand side, hopefully you can see that we have Walther markings on the inner barrel. There are also a couple of small non-original markings, Cal 6mm BB on here and F for the German market there, but they're fairly small and discreetly done. Nice quality of moulding, it's sharply defined, it's a very good looking pistol and very authentic to the original. Features, well, the PPQ is designed to be very simple to use, so it has relatively few controls and that's accurately replicated here. There is a slide release which is fully ambidextrous, does work on both sides. Again, a nice feature. I've seen so many replicas where the slide release on the right hand side of the frame is not operable, but this one is usable on both sides. It's a safety trigger system. It has a central blade which operates the trigger safety. Again, a lot of replicas you see the central blade model but it doesn't do anything, it's just decoration. But here, if you try to pull the trigger without touching the central blade, you can't actually move it. The trigger will only pull if the central blade is depressed first. Magazine release, you can see, is set up for left-handed use at the moment. It's a reversible button release on the magazine. The magazine itself is a fairly standard airsoft magazine. Again, it has markings on it, which I hope you can see there. Even the Walther Cal 9mm markings on the side and on the base of the magazine. The magazine itself, follower pulls down for loading. Doesn't lock down, you have to hold the follower down while you're loading it, and BBs pour into this wide part of the slot at the front there. Double stack magazine, holds up to 22 BBs. Fills without leaks or without any issues at all. There's a small accessory rail under the barrel, and in terms of function, that's really about it. You have a pair of sights with white dots on them. The manual says that the rear sight is fixed, but I hope you can see this. If you look inside the frame, you can actually see that there is a small hex screw. Yeah, there we go. Loosening that screw actually allows you to move the sights from side to side, so there is windage adjustment in the rear sight, even though the manual says that there isn't. One of the things I really like about this one is that it's ambidextrous. A lot of firearms in the real world are set up to be used by left or right hands, but so few replicas are. In fact, I think of all the replicas I've owned, and I've owned quite a few, this is the first one I've been able to configure for left-handed use. The safety is in the trigger. Magazine release is reversible and it has an ambidextrous slide release, so I can actually use the pistol with my left hand. And I have to say, that's just a very wonderful thing if you're used to having to juggle pistols from hand to hand if you're left-handed and using a pistol that's set up for right-handed use. So full marks to Umarex and VFC for giving us a replica that can be used with either hand. It has reasonable weight. It weighs 640 grams, which doesn't sound a lot. In fact, I almost didn't go for this one because it sounded rather light. And yet, strangely, when you hold the pistol, it has really good weight. It also has very good balance. A lot of replicas that have metal slide and polymer frame tend to be quite front and top heavy. This one isn't. I really like the ergonomics on this one. Fits my hand very nicely, it has good balance, and despite the fact that it isn't all that heavy, it actually has a good feel about it. A couple of things I was slightly less happy with. One is that the brass in our barrel isn't recessed very deeply at all, and you can see it very clearly. The other thing is that there is a light moulding seam on the underside of the accessory rail and on the underside of the trigger guard. It's not particularly bad, but I guess I would prefer that that wasn't there. So overall, it's a good looking pistol, handles extremely well for left and for right-handed use. Let's have a quick look at how it shoots. Okay, as you can see, the Walther PPQ M2 shoots fairly well. 5 of the 6 shots are grouped in about an inch circle on the target, fairly close to the centre. The sights seem well set up out of the box for me. We have one that's gone a little bit further adrift there. But generally it seems to have really quite good accuracy for a 6mm pistol. Umarex claim 350 feet per second with 0.2 gram BBs. I don't have a Chrome at the moment, so I can't confirm that. I use 0.25 and my guess would be probably closer to the low 300s, but certainly more than enough for adequate target shooting. The blowback is good, it's snappy and fairly strong. The pistol isn't particularly loud, it has a sharp crack rather than a loud bang. If you're shooting indoors like me, that's not a bad issue. It really has a very nice trigger pull. It's short, it's light, it's a true single action trigger pull, and it's very consistent in where it releases. It's one of the nicest trigger pulls I've come across. I really enjoyed using that for shooting. Overall, this seems like a really nice replica. Bad things, really quite minor. Perhaps it could have been a little bit heavier, though I have to say it does have good overall balance. I would like to have seen the brass in our barrel perhaps a little bit better hidden. And finally, I would like to see the seam on the underside of the trigger guard and the accessory guard better finished. Good things? Well, it's a great visual replica, almost indistinguishable from the original firearm version. It's a great functional replica. It really does everything that the original one does in the same way. The takedown latches, everything else work exactly the same as the original do. It has really nice balance. I like the way this pistol grips. Good ergonomics, good balance, and despite being a little bit light, it actually feels good when you pick it up. Of course, for me, a major thing is it can be configured for left-hand use. So few replicas can. This is one that I can actually use with my left hand, which is just a very wonderful thing, and I can suggest that anybody who's left-handed might want to try one of these just for the joy of being able to use the thing without passing it back and forth between your hands as you shoot. And it appears to be quite well put together and quite well finished. This is still very new, I haven't used it that much, so it's early days yet. I certainly haven't seen anything about it that makes me concerned. I haven't heard anything about this pistol that suggests that it isn't reliable. And it's fairly cheap. I paid €100 for this one, which seems to be about average price for this pistol. That's really quite good. It's certainly notably cheaper than, for example, a number of Japanese and even some other Taiwanese replicas. And what you get appears to be a very nice quality, nicely designed, nicely put together pistol. I could really recommend this one. As ever, you can find a full written review of the Umarex Walther PPQ M2 on the Pistol Place, and the review includes details of how you swap over the magazine release for left-handed use. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the review.